right now on the line, there's another potential cure for those with a problem, and that is the world of hypnosis. And it's a great pleasure to introduce from HypnoFit, Helen Maitas. Helen, whoops, wrong line. That's the line. Helen, hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. HypnoFit is your organisation. How long have you been a hypnotist for?
I've been a hypnotherapist, so there's a little bit of a difference between a hypnotist and a hypnotherapist.
Well, one's on stage and one's in the clinic. Is that the difference?
Correct.
Okay, and have you ever been on stage?
No, I haven't. It's not my thing, not my gig. I have been on stage motivating people, inspiring people, but not getting them to cluck like chickens. So.
You've never done it for your own amusement? Hypnotise someone to cluck like a chicken just for your own amusement?
No. I get amused, some other way.
Okay. Well, it was on the news this week. I think it was on Channel 9 News that some people are going to the hypnotist to break the alcoholic cycle that they're on, and I think it worked for like 30% or whatever. What sort of ailments and addictions do you treat?
Oh, look, with addictions, it's alcoholism, it's cigarettes, they're the ones that everybody knows about, and drugs to a lesser extent as well. So other drugs like marijuana and so on. But personally, I find that it's far more successful to have people come who do have an alcohol problem rather than a drug problem, simply because the people that take drugs are less likely to attend their appointments.
That's one way to look at it. So you can actually stop. What do you suggest to them when they're under hypnosis to break the alcohol cycle?
Okay, so I undertake a 3-step process. It's not just about suggestions. What we do is we take away the reason that the person is drinking alcohol. So they're drinking alcohol for a reason. So we need to eliminate that reason first. If we don't do that, the chances of success diminish. So we need to do the whole package. We see it as a problem, and we apply a solution from beginning to end. So that's the first thing I do, is I remove the reason that the person is drinking alcohol. Is it anxiety? Is it stress? Is it an unhappy relationship? Are they not coping at work? Is it depression? What is it? And the second step is that we take away their belief, because they have a belief that alcohol helps them in some way, when in fact it doesn't. So we actually need to take that belief away at a subconscious level. So it's not about what they know, it's what they feel. So all the work that we do as hypnotherapists is at the subconscious levels. It's not about telling them something which they already know anyway. It's about them feeling a shift and actually believing something different. And then once we've done that work, we then give very powerful hypnotic suggestions as to what their future is without alcohol, what their future is with alcohol, so they can clearly see 5 years down the track, 10 years down the track, 20 years down the track, where will I be if I continue along this path? So there's a way that we do it, and that's why it works, because it's not just about knowing something; it's about feeling it and reacting differently.
And what percentage do you reckon can be cured via hypnosis?
Well, to be honest, there hasn't been very much published research or study reports about this kind of therapy on alcoholism. But with the ones that are, it's a very high percentage. So there needs to be more studies, and I can only speak anecdotally. In fact, Headley, one of your listeners who heard me last time when you interviewed me when we were talking about pain, he came to see me shortly after, and he came to see me for depression and drinking. And he said to me, please tell him that I haven't had a drop since.
Fair dinkum.
So that's been some months. So that's one of your listeners who came to see me because of what he heard on the radio.
Well, we're here to help. Belinda, what do you see as the major causes for people to get into alcohol? Is it depression? Is it slowly just increasing the amount they drink socially? How would you break the percentages down?
There's a wide range. There's research to say that 85% of women have had some kind of sexual abuse. So it could be some kind of form of trauma. But there's a whole range of reasons, but usually underlying is some kind of, depression or anxiety.
Actually, you made another good point. I think we've been talking male-oriented a lot till now, but what is the alcohol women problem increasing?
We see more women alcoholics than we
Younger?
do. Yes.
Binge drinking?
Binge drinking, yes. Yeah.
Loading up before they're going out partying?
Loading up, definitely before they go out partying, and then not being able to stop.
Right, and it's not peer pressure, it's peer enjoyment. They're all doing it.
I think it's just a thing that, it's just so socially acceptable.
Yeah.
You go to prees before you go and do something, and then you go off and drink there, and you know.
Do we need, Amanda, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that most people will know there's, in their groups when they're going out, in the teenage years, in their 20s, there's 1 in 10 that will, stand out to them that drinks more than everybody else. The person that continues to drink that gets really sloppy and messy. So I think across the board, there's 1 in 10 on kind of average that will be, the one that's still drinking when it's daylight, and then they're drinking again in the morning. So that there are, they are the people that have come from families where there's been alcohol or addiction in the family.
Yeah. Is there a cure? Is there a I don't know. What do you do about, teenage and 20-year-old binge drinking? Is there anything you can do?
Well, I think educating...
They're not going to listen. Well, they're not going to listen, They're certainly not going to listen to older people. They're going to listen maybe to their peers. Or if they see photos of themselves on Facebook covered in vomit, that might help. But apart from that, how do you stop that? John, you wanted to say something?
Something else. Go on.
I was going to say that I've got a 20-year-old and a couple of 18-year-olds, and we've been talking about addiction and using of drugs and alcohol for pretty much their entire lives. So they're young people that will be using drugs and alcohol and talking about it with me and being kind of open about what they do. I've got a son at the moment, G'day Roz, who, when he drinks alcohol, he drinks too much. So he's kind of currently aware that he's a person that really shouldn't be drinking alcohol. So, and he's not, I hope you're not ashamed, Roz. It's just, that there's the genetic predisposition.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. It's okay to drink. It's just not okay to drink too much. That's the whole thing. It's because, but once you start drinking, you lose a sense of what's too much.
You can't unpickle a cucumber.
That sounds like something that comes from Finland. You can't unpickle a herring, I think, is actually the Finnish. John, you wanted to say?
Yeah, look, I was really fascinated with step number 2, and that is this relationship between feeling and belief. And I'm just wondering, because a lot of the treatment interest for the last 5 or 10 years has been really focused on what they call cognitive behavioural therapy, where it's actually about changing the way people think about things, whereas the focus on this is a strong component is a focusing on how people feel, and that's such a really important aspect of it, not just in terms of how you think about your feelings, but actually at a subconscious level, how those feelings shape your receptivity to what you're going to enjoy or what's going to dominate your feelings in the future.
Yeah. Helen, what percentage of the population can be hypnotised easily?
Well, it depends what you mean by easily. Very easily, very, very tiny percentage, say 5%, but everybody can be hypnotised.
Everybody can be hypnotised?
Everybody. Well, if you can't be hypnotised, you might as well say, I can't take suggestion. Now, you wouldn't turn up into a brand new job and say to your employer, listen, I can't take suggestion. Everybody can take suggestion.
Indeed he does. He turns... but yes, surely not everyone can be hypnotised.
Everybody can be if they want to be. So that's the key.
Okay, so if you don't put up resistance... And what's the average time it takes?
Okay, well, it might take anything from literally a few minutes to 10, 15 minutes.
Really?
It does depend on the person, yeah.
And do you just use one watch, or do you use multiple watches if they're hard to hypnotise?
I don't actually use any watches.
What is it now? A mobile phone app? Is that...
There's many different ways to
Skin a cat.
induct somebody. So there's many different ways. Yeah.
Right. And is there some sort of Hippocratic oath that you can't use it for personal use?
Absolutely.
What, the hypnotist oath? Is that what a hypnotherapist oath?
Yes, we take that oath.
Yeah. And how often have you broken that oath?
I would say that I haven't broken that oath, but you have to speak to my husband to see if that's actually true.
We'll leave that for another time. Helen, wonderful to talk to you. And if people want hypno help, and what else beside drinking do you reckon? What's your biggest success rate? Is it smoking? Is it weight loss? What is it?
It's not about the success, because I succeed in everything that I do.
Yeah, but from the punter's point of view, they want to know that they're going to get a result. So
everyone specialises in something different, Headley. So my absolute passion is depression, specifically adolescent depression. So that's what I'm absolutely 100% passionate about.
And you use hypnosis for adolescent depression?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
So this is for parents to bring their unhappy adolescents to you?
Yes, adolescents who are suicidal, who are cutting, who have opted out of school, who believe that they are worthless, and their life changes. I get them back into school, back into the system, part-time work,
Oh, that's fantastic. You should actually be hired by the education department to go around to schools. Do you do that?
I don't go around to schools. My practice is busy enough as it is, because word of mouth gets around.
Yeah, can you recognise, if you went into like a classroom of 30 people, 30 students, could you recognise the ones with problems?
Oh, of course.
No, seriously, could you recognise the ones with problems?
Most definitely, because it plays out in your physiology.
So how the fuck do the education department not do this? Send people like you or, someone around to identify problems before they become lethal.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. But unfortunately, this type of modality in Australia is quite behind the times, but I am optimistic that we are moving forward.
Well,
I really believe that.
Well, is there a Medicare charge code? Can you, as a practitioner, get...
No, only with some health funds, with most health funds, but even the health funds are quite a small rebate that clients get. So really, they're out of pocket. But with the people that come to me, they're out there with them. They've tried everything else. They've tried the medication. They've gone everywhere, done everything. People don't automatically, choose to go to a hypnotherapist as a first.
No, because people don't want to cluck like a chicken in the supermarket when they see rice bubbles.
Not that we want to bring that up again, Headley.
No, we don't, because that's just stereotyping. Now, what's your phone number? This is a very important area, and we're going to do something with the education department. Belinda, Amanda, we're going to join forces, get Dee Dee involved, because he can write a mean letter.
Excellent.
There are utility companies that quake in their boots when they see Darren Brown at the bottom of a letter. So we'll do something about this. We'll even write it in Finnish. We'll complain to the Finnish consulate in... Where is your Finnish consulate? In Canberra, probably. Well, look, that's good. Now, give us your number, Helen.
0409
Yep.
938
Yep.
589.
Yep.
And that particular website for depressed adolescents is breakthroughdepression.com.au.
Breakthroughdepression.com.au, and it's really for the parents to take the kids.
It is for the parents.
Are the kids resistant at the start?
Well, this is the thing, Headley. The way that I do it, because it has to be done this way, is that usually it's the mother would bring their adolescent to me, and I won't actually see them unless the adolescent decides that they are ready for change and they want to move forward. So I won't see them or have any sessions with them if it's just the parents who want this, but they need to want it. If they want it, I'm there with them 100%, but if they don't want it, they need to be ready for it.
Okay.
And Helen, what is it? I know it's a piece of string in terms of how many sessions and things like that, but ballpark, what would be a course of treatment, do you think?
Well, in actual fact, for that age group, it's a lot less than adults, because they've got less of a life to get through. So, because what we do is we eliminate, and not just understand, truly eliminate all the negative emotions that are holding them back, all the limiting beliefs that are holding them back. And because they've had a lot fewer events happen in their life, really it doesn't take that long. So the standard program for a depressed adolescent is 7 sessions. After that point, I will see them, perhaps every couple of months or so, just to make sure they're on track, and then it could be then every 6 months. So to begin with, if they're suicidal and they're at that point where they need urgent attention, I could be seeing them 2-3 times a week, very intense sessions, and then they don't need me for a week, and then it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So really, the minimum program is 7 sessions. I mean, obviously, there are some that need more than that, but 7 to 12 sessions, we get to the crux of the matter.
I might take Dee Dee there. Excellent. Helen, fantastic work you're doing, and we're going to get it through every school. If you can identify people with problems at an early stage, then, that's really what it's all
Anybody
about.
could, Headley. Anybody could identify.
Well, I think you've got to be, you've got to be trained somehow. You've got to at least be experienced in it. Helen, fantastic. HypnoFit, and I'll just read the number again, 0409 938 589, right?
Yes.
Close enough. Thank you, Helen, and we'll speak to you again. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Thanks.
And